Alright guys, welcome back to the Python series. Now we're going to talk about dictionaries. A dictionary in Python is a collection of key value pairs. So what I mean by that is before we learn about something called lists. So with lists you can store elements together like this. So it's just a contiguous group of elements that you store together and it's a ordered list. And then once you have a list, you can access the elements and work with the elements given their index, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3 because it's zero based. It's a great option when you want to store stuff together that goes together. So, like a list of test scores, a list of names, stuff like that, right? A dictionary allows you to store stuff in a different way. So, instead of just storing it as a list, you can store it as key value pairs, meaning that it has an identifier, which is called the key, and then the actual value stored in the dictionary, which is the value. So, let me give you a concrete example. Let's create our very first dictionary. So, we're going to call this dictionary phone book. So, we're creating a variable called phone book, and we're going to store a dictionary for that variable by opening a curly bracket. That's automatically going to put a closing curly bracket, press enter, and that's going to open it up. And then now inside of here, we can define the key value pairs of our dictionary. So for example, we can do Alice. So this would be the key. And then since it's a phone book, the value is going to be her phone number. So we're going to say, we're going to make up some phone numbers that don't even make sense. So something like that. So what we've done here is create a dictionary of one single key value pair. The key or the identifier is Alice, and the value stored for that key is 5550101. We can add as many as we want. So we could do, for example, Bob, and then Bob has a different phone number, something like that. Jerry, something like that. And then Thomas, something like that. So now our dictionary has four key value pairs, with the keys being Alice, Bob, Jerry, and Thomas. So the difference between the dictionary and the list, if we were to do a list of phone numbers, is that we can identify each phone number with its owner. In this case, it would be the key of the name of the person whose phone number that is. That's not something you can really do as easily with a list. So essentially, we can store data and access data in a more meaningful way. That's the main benefit of dictionaries. Instead of accessing the phone number of a person given just a random index for that position in the list, you can access it by the actual name of the person themselves, which is cool. So let's print it out. Let's take a look. So print, we'll say phone book, and let's take a look at what it looks like. There we go. So we get our dictionary printed out. It's just like a flat list of the key value pairs. So Alice, Bob, Jerry, and Thomas. Nice. You can also just create empty dictionaries. So empty dict, which stands for dictionary, is equal to, and then just opening and closing curly brackets. Maybe you want to have it empty initially and then add data to it later. You can do that just like you would with a list. Let's print it out, see what we get. There we go, get empty dictionary, looks good. We could do a dictionary of grades, I think that's a good one. So just like we had a dictionary of all these people's phone numbers, we can do the same thing but with grades. So if you want to, you could have the name of the students, or you could do like their student ID, for example. So you could do a big number like that, just some random ID, and then their grade, which is, 95, and then so on. So you could do it however you want to. So you just have a key, which is something that you choose, and then a value. So we'll say Bob, Joe, and Peanut. So now we got a dictionary of Bob, Joe, Cherry, and Peanut, and they have their corresponding values. A dictionary can also be useful when you have data that goes together, but you want to store it into one variable. And you can use a tuple for that, you can use other types of things like classes for that, but a dictionary is one option as well. So for example, let's just say I want to store information about a person in my system. So I could do name is equal to Bob, age is equal to 99, and then city is Dallas. So we're storing all of this information on one single person in three different variables. It would be nice, since they go together, these are all for one person, if we could store it all together into one sort of entity. We can do that with the dictionary. So we can define a person dictionary, and we could simply say the name is Bob, the age is 99, and the city is Dallas. So let's get rid of this. So as you can see, we've basically combined all the data that we were storing separately into three variables before into one single variable. In this case, the variable contains a dictionary of key value pairs. And you'll also notice that, just like everything in Python, the data doesn't have to be the same type for every single key value pair. It can be mixed. So that's pretty cool as well. So like I said, you can use other things in Python to store data together like this. Like classes, for example, would be a good option for this, but we're going to learn about that later. If you want something simple that you can use to store the data together, a dictionary is a great option. But generally speaking, you'll probably see more things like this, where you have sort of like a list of items, and you want to associate every value of that list with something more meaningful than the index of a list. So names or identifiers, just whatever identifier you're going to come up with. Okay, so once you have a dictionary, how can you actually use it? Access data from it, right? So it's actually pretty easy. So we can do print, for example. And let's just say that we want to get the name of this person here. So we could do person. And then just like before with a list, you could do bracket notation and provide the index. With a dictionary, you can do bracket notation, but instead provide the key. So in this case, it would be name. So we can do person, name, and now if we run this, boom, we get Bob. And then we can make it age. We should get 99. Boom, we get 99. Nice. So to access the data of a dictionary, you simply use bracket notation with the key provided, and it automatically grabs the value associated with that key from the dictionary. Now, something you need to be aware of is that bracket notation to access the values of a dictionary is actually less common than you would think, even though I just showed you how to do it. It's a little bit unsafe because if I provide a key that does not exist, so let's go for grades for example. If I try doing print and then I want to get the grade of someone. You can see that's automatically suggesting the keys of the dictionary from grades, which is really cool. So we can do Joe, for example. Let's run it. Boom, we get 72. If I was to provide a key, though, that is not part of the dictionary, so if I say, I don't know, Joe 2, there's obviously no key for Joe 2. So if I run this, let's see what happens. Boom, I get an error. It's called a key error, which makes sense. I'm trying to provide a key that does not exist. So doing this will have the potential to crash your program. You want to make sure that you provide keys that actually do exist in the dictionary. So there's actually a safer way to access data from dictionaries where if you provide a key, it does not, crash your program or provide an error. We can do that using the get method. So just like before with lists in Python and also strings, there's methods on those variables that have that data type. We can also do the same thing for dictionaries. So for example, let's just copy all of this here and we'll paste it. And so instead of accessing it using the bracket notation, we can do person.get. And then it says return the value for the key if the key is in the dictionary, else default. So the way it works is we provide the name of the key just like before. So we'll do name, and then we'll do the same thing for these, age, and then city. So let's run it. Let's see what we get. Boom. So we get the same data as before. We get Bob 99 and Dallas. Bob 99 and Dallas. Good. The difference here between this and this, though, is that if I provide a key that does not exist, just like before, let's see what we get. Boom. So instead of crashing the program, there's no exceptions or errors, as you can see. Now we get none. So because we provided a key that does not exist, which is name 2, when this piece of code here was ran, it checked the dictionary and it saw that there is no key with that name. So it provided the default, which in this case is none. So this is a much safer way to access values from dictionaries because it did not throw an error. It actually gives you a value that you could work with. Because for example, we could do name is equal to person.get name. We're saying name 2 again, right? Since we know now that this returns none potentially if there's no value or key matching that key provided, all we got to do is do if name, and then we could say the name is name, and then else no name matching. So when you do if and then a variable, it checks to see if it's not none. So if this actually has a value other than none, this will be true. Otherwise, it'll hit this else and it runs this piece of code here. So in this case, if it's not none, we're going to use it and just print it out or do whatever you want with it. Let's do another example. So let's just say that we want to access the grade of someone. So we'll do grade is equal to grades, and then we'll say Bob. This should give us Bob's grade. There we go, we get 95, which is correct. But again, if we provide a key that does not exist, so we'll say Bobby, we get the key error, so we'll switch it to get. So get Bobby, and now we get none. So there we go, we get none. Something cool that you can do is actually provide a second parameter to this method here, which is a default other than none. So for example, I could do 0. So what this means is that if Bobby does not exist in the dictionary as a key, instead of returning none and storing it to this variable here, it's going to return 0. That makes much more sense for us potentially because maybe we want to just have the default grade for someone be 0 if they're not in our system. So being able to set your own default to be returned is very useful as well. So if we run it, we get 0. Nice. Okay, I really hope that part made sense. That's how you can access data from dictionaries once you have them. You can use either the bracket notation, but it's a little unsafe if you don't have a proper key, or you can use the get method, which is more safe because it gives you the default value of none or whatever you provide it, okay? So now that we have that, let's talk about how we can modify dictionaries. So let's say we have another person dictionary like this. So it has a name and an age, pretty simple. Let's print it out. And now let's say that we want to add new data to this dictionary. So what I mean by that is adding new key value pairs. We can do that pretty easily. So we can do person, and then in brackets, now you're going to specify the key that you want to add. So we could do, for example, city again, and we'll say, I guess, again, Dallas. Or let's do Chicago. Chicago. I don't know why I spelled it like that, but there we go. So in this case, it looks like we're setting an existing key, and we might, but since the key does not exist in the dictionary already, it's just going to add it and set the value to Chicago. So if we run it, or print it out rather, let's take a look at the before and after. There we go. So we get name, Alice, age 25, and then Alice 25, city, Chicago. So we could also do person, occupation, and say engineer. Let's run it. There we go. It added that. occupation, and engineer. So now if you want to change the value of one of the key value pairs, obviously it's pretty simple. All you gotta do is specify the key of the one that you want to change. So we'll change the city to, we'll set it to Los Angeles. I think I spelled that correctly. So Los Angeles, and then now if we print it out, you can confirm that the value has been changed. So Chicago, Los Angeles. So that's how you can add and also change values for key value pairs within a dictionary. We can also remove them. There's two different ways. So first of all, we can use the special delete keyword. So delete, DEL, and then specify the key. So person, occupation. So that's going to delete the occupation key value pair. Let's print it out. Take a look. Run it. Boom, we can see that it has been removed. You can also use the pop method. So just like with the list, you can call pop to remove elements from a list. You can also remove key value pairs from a dictionary. So we could do person.pop, and it tells you what it does. Remove specified key and return the corresponding value. If the key is not found, return the default if given, otherwise raise a key error. And we'll specify the key. So in this case, we'll do age. And then like I said, it's going to return it. So it's going to return the removed age. So this is going to find the key value pair with the key of age, remove it, but also give you the value back from that key. So it's going to be whatever value is stored for that key. In this case, it should be 25. So if we run this, let's print out the removed age as well as the updated dictionary, and we'll see what it looks like. There we go, get 25. That was popped from the dictionary. And then you can also see that the dictionary only has name and city now. Like the documentation said, if you provide a key that does not exist, you will get a key error unless you provide a default. So we could set the default to none if you want to. Now if I run it, there we go, get none, no error. And we see that has updated the dictionary. So you have to provide the default if you want it to not throw a key error so that it knows what to return from the pop. So in this case, it stores none into this because age2 was not found as a key. I'm now just going to show you some of the other methods that you can call upon dictionaries to do, useful things. One of them is just getting all of the keys of the dictionary, which you can imagine is useful because then you know what data you can access from it. So for example, we can do print keys, and then we'll do person.keys. It's really that simple. So as you can see, it returns this weird type here called dict keys, dictionary keys, but it essentially wraps a list. So to get the underlying data, you can do that in different ways. One thing that you can do is loop over it. So we can do for key in person.keys. So the type that's returned from the keys method is actually something that can be looped over. So if we just print out key, it's just going to allow us to loop over each of them. So we get name, age, and city. Nice. You can also use it with something like a condition. So if name in person dot keys, all this is saying is that if the string name is one of the keys returned by the keys method here, then run this code. So we're going to say yes. There we go, get yeah. You can imagine that this one's pretty useful to make sure that before you try working with a dictionary to, change data or access data, you check to see if the key actually exists in the dictionary first. That's very important. And if you don't want to loop over it like I just showed you or use it in a condition like this, you just want the data as an actual list, you can easily convert it to a list by just simply wrapping it in list. So we can do person.keys. So it's taking the dict keys type returned by this method here and just wrapping it in a list is going to convert it to a list type. So if I print it, we just get a list. There we go, name, age, and city, and we can work with that. We already know how to work with lists. So that's how you can get a list of the keys of the dictionary, but maybe you just want the raw values themselves. So you can do person.values. Let's run it. So in this case, we get a special type again. It's called dict values instead of dict keys, but still the underlying type is just a list. So we can work with it the same way. We can loop over it, we can access, we can convert it to a list, whatever you want to do. You can also call .items. So items, if we run it, now we get dict items, which is a list of key value pairs. So you can see that for every key value pair that we have in our dictionary, it's going to give it to us as a tuple. So we have a list of tuples, as you can see. So let's loop over that for key value pair in person items. Let's just loop through every single one of them. There we go, we get each tuple, name, Alice, age, 25, city, Los Angeles. So if you want the data in that way, that's how you can do that. Before I showed you that you can check to see if a key is part of a dictionary by doing dictionary.keys, but you can just directly check it really easily by doing if name in person. So if name is one of the keys in person, we can do something like person name, because we know it's there so we can access it safely. There we go, get Alice. So those are just some of the methods that you can call upon dictionaries, like you can do with strings and lists and stuff like that. Those are going to be pretty useful all the time for doing stuff with dictionaries. But something else that you can do with dictionaries is actually nest them. So we can have a dictionary within a dictionary. You can have as much as you want. So let's break this down. So in this case, we have a top level dictionary, Every key is just the name of the person, the name of the student, so Alice and Bob. And then for every key, we have a value just like before, but in this case, the value is going to be another dictionary. So I didn't say the value had to be a primitive like integer or float or string. It can be whatever value you want. So in this case, it's just another dictionary. So we get another dictionary which has the keys of age, grade, and subjects with a list. That's cool. And then Bob has the same thing: age, grade, and subjects. Now, something to keep in mind here is that as you can see, each of the subdictionaries have the same keys within them, which is very common. Usually, when you have a list of data within a dictionary, they all have consistent structure, but it's not required. So if you want to, this one can have just age or have a totally different key. It doesn't matter. But usually, you'll see them be pretty consistent because you want to store data in a consistent way so that you can access it later in a consistent way. So if you have a complex dictionary like this where the data is stored in this way, you can access the data in the same ways before, but since we have multiple dictionaries, we can do it like this. So we can do, for example, if we want to get Alice's age, to get Alice's age, we need to first access the Alice key. So students, Alice, and this will give us this. This is what is returned by that. And then now we want to get her age. So we access the age key. So we do the bracket notation on top of that to get the age. And then for Bob's subjects, it's the same thing. So we do Bob and then subjects, and we get the list here. So let's run it, take a look. Boom, we get Alice's age 20 and Bob's subjects history and English. Perfect. Okay, guys, that's all I'm going to show you for this episode. Hopefully, it wasn't too long, but that's how you can work with dictionaries in Python. They're a really cool type of data structure that allows you to store data together in a more meaningful way than just as a simple list, but as a collection of key value pairs, which is really cool. So you can do a lot of things with them. You'll see them pretty often, and hopefully you guys now understand how to work with them. So just to recap, now you guys know how to create dictionaries, how to access the data within them, how to add new data, how to modify the data, how to remove key value pairs, how to use the methods of a dictionary to do various things, and also I showed you guys how you can nest dictionaries in one another. So pretty cool stuff. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. See you guys next time. Peace.